I almost need to go get headphones myself just to fit in. I'm not actually going to use them, but
you could get some earbuds.
All right, guys, don't forget to tune into the YouTube channel yourself. That way you can
oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we got to pad the stats.
Pad the stats, yeah. Be able to
we can answer questions, too. I got to get a phone charger.
Also, make sure to like the video.
I always do.
Also, make sure to like the video. Oh, that's annoying.
Is somebody echoing?
Yeah, I shut off my volume.
Okay.
All right, let's do this.
All right. Oh, hey, Luke. What's up, LB? Everybody got your beers? It's time.
Check.
Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers, guys. Welcome to, I guess, our second Beers and Gears, right?
Our annual.
So, what did we decide our first topic is going to be tonight?
Well, I got some interesting news for Columbus. This would be kind of big, too. Mark Wahlberg bought Bobby Lehman Chevrolet right down the road from us.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So he's going to be running around Bobby Chevrolet, so I might run up there a couple times, see if I can get a view of him. But I just thought it was a cool little piece of news I saw last night. So
that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Or if we would be flinging burgers out of there too. So, are we going to talk about naturally aspirated versus the forced hot air? All I see is RT chewing gum.
Yeah, I'm bracing for this topic because it's something that I've been probably kicking around for like 2 or 3 weeks at this point, researching different options and everything.
Hello.
So Das, why don't you talk about your setup? Because I have to take a 5-pound dog and give it to my wife right now because it's about to bark. So hang on.
Yeah, no worries. So basically, the boosted versus NA. That's always the question here. You know, in the end, you know, there's a ton of power and everything like that, which I've obviously been able to show in my car here at this high altitude. But there's a ton of risks. You know, I mean, even if you do it right, the way I did it with the water methanol and everything like that, there's always a risk. And you know, to be safe, it's just easy to say that you cut the life of the car in half because you're forcing that engine to do things that it's not supposed to do. So
yeah, it definitely takes a beating on the car, you know.
And
all your internals.
One of those things, and Rory's going to get on this topic here, but when you're boosting a car, you just need to do it the right way the first time. I mean, if you don't have enough money to boost your car, don't try to budget build a turboed or a supercharged car because that's just going to be a problem right there.
Oh yeah, you'll run into major issues, I'm sure. And it's not cheap to do it right, you know.
I heard the 5.7's pretty solid though to run forced induction on it.
It is a really solid engine. I mean, but the thing is, I was over at RPM, the guys that built my car. They actually have a Hellcat engine removed because driving it too hard and got the engine really hot. And Rory, kind of what I was talking to you about with the piston rings from the factory, those rings are gapped really small. So I actually saw the inside of a Hellcat motor that they tore apart because basically those piston rings expanded so much they touched and chipped the top of the piston right off. I meant to grab a photo and post it on Instagram for you guys to see it, but you know, it's not just the 5.7s, it's not the 392s, it's not even the 6.2 liter ones. It's if you're not careful with these cars and you get them too hot, you're not necessarily going to throw a rod, but you're going to chip your pistons with those piston rings.
Do you know how hot it got before it broke?
I don't know how hot that one got because, you know, whenever people mess up their cars, nobody's ever going to go around and be like, yeah, I was hot rodding the crap out of my car. And and blew it up. Everyone's going to say, oh, yeah, I was out on a Sunday drive coming back from the grocery store with my wife, and, you know, the engine started knocking.
Well, here's the thing with the forced air, because I'm looking into my next modification. And so one shop is telling me that I can buy this torque. It's a type of supercharger, but it's belt driven. It looks like a Procharger, but it's a bare bones setup. And so basically you buy it for $2,800, and all it is just the turbo, the belt, the intake, and a direct feed into your air intake. And so basically you can tell them, I want 5 PSI to 7 PSI. And the performance shop that I'm working with says, oh, it'll be fine. You'll be fine. You don't need an intercooler. It's not enough PSI to damage your engine. And, you know, that sounds a little odd to me, but I have seen a lot of other people running this. Oh, it's called Torque Storm. I've seen a lot of people running this setup, but nobody gives you any kind of real feedback on the longevity, if they busted up their engine using this. So you have YouTube videos and you know, trails of people saying that they've done it, they've had good results, but nobody is there saying, hey, after 6 months, my car is still running good, or it's shitty, or this, that, and the other thing. So long story short, I called up another performance shop that's a little bit more professional, and they basically said, don't ever put a forced air system without an intercooler on a stock engine like that, okay? My thought behind it was, so your air is going right into your throttle body, into your engine, into your manifold, I mean. So it has to run through an intercooler to get the temperature to ambient, right? So what I was going to do was take this Torque Storm and try and run it as a cold air intake, so that it's starting off with cold air. It goes through the propellers and then goes into your intake manifold. But even Das was telling me that once it gets through the
Compressor?
What is it? The compressor, it still warms up like crazy, and then, you know, it's still not enough. You need that intercooler. So that got shot to shit, and now I am back to square one. And it's either, basically, if you're going to go forced air, you have to suck it up and pay for that full package of $6 or $7 grand for a Procharger with a complete setup, and then the $2 or $3 grand for install, or you basically have to cam it. You know, at this point in my modifications, those are really the two options that you have. An intake manifold is kind of like, it's biting the crust off of a peanut butter and jelly. You know, you're paying all this money for just a tiny bit of horsepower and torque, you know? So
that's the AWHP manifold you were talking about, right?
Well, you know what? The company that I was talking to today said that if I'm going to keep it naturally aspirated, just to go with the 6.1 manifold, and you know, the price difference between the 6.1, they priced me and quoted, if I paid cash, it was $1,300 for the 6.1 manifold, purchased and installed and everything. And then the AWHP intake manifold would have been $1,500. So it's an extra $200. But I asked the question, if I ever want to go Procharger down the road, which is better? And he said the AWHP is by far better if you're going to decide to go forced air down the road. So I'm like, I don't know what to do at this point, you know?
And even so, spending $1,300 or $1,500 for an intake manifold, what real gains are you looking at? I mean, are we talking like a 10 horsepower gain or a 50 horsepower gain?
Well, that's what he said. It's pretty much going to be 10 horsepower, wheel horsepower throughout the band, but you're going to get a healthy amount of torque. But still,
but
it's like one of
across the entire band, that's a lot of area under the curve. So most people, they just focus on this peak number of 600 horsepower or whatever it is that peak number is. But if that peak number only exists for a moment in time this big, but your curve is this,
then it's stupid. It's stupid. Yeah,
so
you want it represented.
You want the whole curve higher, not just one spot.
Exactly. That's why I kind of want to do an intake manifold, because no matter which avenue I choose, an intake manifold is a crucial part of any kind of performance upgrades, you know?
Do you ever think about getting a new rear end, changing your gear ratio?
To higher, right? Like a 3.7 or...
Well, you
I've thought of...
swap out a Hellcat rear end into yours, can't you?
That's a good question.
Hellcats are lower. Don't they have a 265 or something like that?
They have the 309.
They have a lower...
They have the 309.
309?
Yep. Do they really?
Or no. I'm sorry. No, my car has the 306 because it's the 14 RT. The Hellcat has the 309 because it has the same rear end as the SRT.
Okay. So I thought the Hellcats were like 370 somethings or something like that. I don't know. We gotta look that up. But you know, the 309, I know that's in the new 1320 Scat Pack, which is their drag package. But yeah, one of my other buddies. So I did a video on his car, Asmodeus. So those of you guys that have seen that video way back when, he actually swapped out a Hellcat rear end for his car. So I thought it was a lot more than a 309.
It's a 262 rear axle ratio.
Oh, 262?
That's
you don't want that.
Yeah, no.
No.
Well, you all remember what's his name? Cajun with a Hemi. He put a 392 ratio, 3.92, and it improved his 0 to 60s quite a bit. I don't know what comes stock in that. I think this was a 14, wasn't it? RT.
How much do you think that will cost?
I think it cost me, he said, like $1,300, I think, for everything, install and everything.
That's it?
Yeah.
For how many tenths of a second?
Like 3 or 4.
Shoot, I'd pay that.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
Too. I would definitely pay that.
Yeah, I mean, living in New York, that's a great investment, you know? You're never going to do 180.
All I do is 0 to 80 anyway, you know?
Yeah, exactly. 0 to 100.
Only thing with doing the gears is it's going to destroy your gas mileage.
He said it wasn't that bad.
We didn't buy these cars for gas mileage, man. If you're buying,
yeah,
might as well have a Prius.
Well, if you daily one like I do,
yeah,
I daily mine, dude. I daily mine is almost 600 wheel horsepower. It's possible, and you know I'm still getting like 19 miles to the gallon.
Yeah, watch this video. It wasn't that bad.
Dude,
I think it went down like 2.
Baby, my car, I can get about 24. Now, if I like to romp around like I usually do, I can get about 18.
That's about normal.
Yeah, I don't get that. I don't get that anymore. That kind of gas mileage. I'm like.
You want the MDS on?
I don't. No, MDS is deactivated with the J Green tune.
You can't.
But
turn it on and turn it off.
He turned that shit off. I mean, my car is like ready to rip roar at a moment's notice now. I mean, this thing is just peppy as all hell. But I don't daily drive my car anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, when I do take it out, I'm like beating the ever living shit out of it. And then, but the thing is it stays in the driveway for like 4 days, 5 days out of the week, if not more. I rest the thing. And then, you know, like I take it out for meets and you guys all see the meets that I do. So, you know, we kind of get a little crazy, but you know, the car is definitely not a, once that J Green tune, my car was never the same MPG wise. Like it's almost like my car is in permanent sport mode. That's what it's like.
You know,
now, can you go ahead, Steve?
Since I have a Hemi Fever tune, I kind of wonder what he would do with my car if I went and got a J Green.
Listen, you ever hear of a channel called Incredible Hemi?
No, I hadn't heard that one. Okay,
so he has a Dodge Ram. It's cammed. He has a lot of work done to it, and he started off with a Hemi Fever, and I was BSing with him, and he basically said the J Green tune is like light years ahead of it, light years ahead of Hemi Fever. It's like he's had both of them, and he just once he tried J Green, he was like, there's just no turning back. So, you know, I've heard a bunch of people. If you go to one of my videos where I'm trying to decide between Hemi Fever, J Green, or a dyno tune, you'll see a lot of people that have tried both of them will say go green. So I went green.
So you went green, and then you said that your gas mileage never been the same. What if the people that are out there, it is their daily driver, they don't have a second car like you? Is it still worth going with that J Green tune?
Well, I mean, you have to decide. You have to decide: are you after horsepower or are you after gas mileage? You know, like if you are trying to get gas mileage out of your Hemi, then tuning is not something that you should be doing. It's just if I was in for gas mileage, then I wouldn't have a J Green tune. I wouldn't have done shorty headers. I'm not, I wouldn't be doing cams. You have to decide: are you after horsepower or are you daily driving this thing? You know, like you have to pay to play. That's just really what it comes down to, right?
There's no balance between the two, though, right?
I mean, you could do the forced air system like what you do and just lay off the gas, right?
That's hard to do, man.
It is hard because you're gaining all this horsepower and then telling your right foot, yo, take it easy.
I had that experience the other day.
Yeah, you know, like when you're emerging on the highway, it's so hard to see that open road and then just be like, oh no, I'm gonna take it easy.
I just like shot around traffic all the time, all the way home. Like I have to get all the way over to the left lane to be able to get out of the two exit lanes that you get immediately you're on when you get on 270. So the second I get around all the traffic, there's this long open stretch, and it's just like I got to do it every time.
That's it, man.
There's going to be that one time there's going to be a trooper sitting there. I know it.
Well, but does that not make sense? Like, if you're going to mod your car, if you're going to go down that route, you have to ultimately sacrifice in one area, right?
That's true.
It's a
There's no happy medium. There's no happy medium.
Exactly. You either are building for horsepower or you're saving for gas mileage. That's just it.
Let's talk about that Diablo. Does it have to be on for the car to operate?
No.
So it just goes back in the regular like mode if it's not on?
Well, which Diablo do you want to talk about?
The one you have. Yeah. The custom one.
I have the T2. And so basically with the T2, you can keep it plugged in. Or you can load up the tune and unplug it, put it in your glove compartment, whatever. I keep it plugged in because I like the display. It shows your gauges and it has nice menu options and stuff like that. But if you wanted to, you can plug the T2 in, load up a tune, unplug it, and just never see it again. Unless you want to, untune the car or retune it.
Or make an adjustment.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Well, that's about the T2. So I have the i2 Intune tuner from Diablo. Is it really worth upgrading to the T2, you think?
If you have an Intuner, if you went and purchased the Intuner, I don't think it's worth it. I think you have to, right out of the gate, just say, okay, I want the T2, I want the display. It's the price jump, I think, is what, like $200 or something like that, or $100, right? And so basically you have to decide, like, is it worth seeing the custom gauges? Like, at that point, it's really not worth $100 if you already have the tune and everything loaded, right?
Yeah, well, buy once, cry once, right?
Do what?
Buy once, cry once.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Yeah, I feel like there's no point of going through the purchasing process just for the display now. You know what I mean?
Hey, but just the display used from the Taser, that's worth $250, right?
Yeah. I love that Taser. That thing is, my favorite feature on that Taser has to be the easy in and easy out exit.
Well, you love that, don't you?
I think that feature alone is worth every penny that I paid for that damn thing.
I haven't updated mine. What is the easy in, easy out?
Okay, so basically,
the 300s have it stock.
Yeah, it makes you feel so classy. You're like, ooh, this is lovely.
Yeah, it's like a limousine.
So wait,
Yeah.
your RT didn't come with it?
No.
No, it's an
Mine
option.
came with it, and I got a 14.
Well, you got an RT Max or something, didn't you?
No, I got the rolling track pack.
Yeah, I got a base model RT, so I don't have a lot of the goodies.
It's part of one of the packages. I can't remember what package.
Easy in, easy out is, so when you shut your car off, the steering wheel moves up and outwards a little bit, and your seat pushes back a little bit.
Okay, I got you.
So when you get in the car and you hit the start button, everything goes back to your driver settings. It's really cool.
Maybe I need to upgrade for that, or update mine for that and the fan controller.
But the problem is with that is if you update your software, you're gonna marry that taser to your car, so you can't tase other people's cars.
Yeah, you can't share the wealth anymore.
Exactly.
Well, like we discussed last time, my taser gets mailed across the country. I'm surprised it hasn't come back to an STD yet.
That taser's a hub.
You better take it to the doctor. Make sure you might have something.
All right.
So what else about this T2? Is it worth this money? Like, I'm really thinking about getting one next year.
I think it is. I think it's a good investment. The amount of features that you get out of it, like the fan control. Johnny, do you take your car to the track at all?
It will be Saturday.
In between runs, you can turn that fan on when your car is just sitting there resting.
Yeah, I've seen that option. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, you've probably seen it on my video.
Chances are good, buddy. I like that face you made when you did that.
Yeah, buddy. I love
my
that
video.
My video. That's right. I did a video on that. Keeping the Hemi cool. But I think it's worth it. I'm not a big, like light show kind of a person. So, a lot of people like
Yeah, I've never used it. I don't know. It's just not my cup of tea. That's my least favorite feature out of all the features, really.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't think I ever used it.
Yeah, I just, whatever. I think it's worth it for the easy in, easy out. The fans.
The line lock is huge, man.
Line lock.
Oh yeah. Line lock definitely.
I'm trying to think what else is.
Hey, I like being able to control my all-wheel drive. I don't know why Dodge didn't just give you a damn button to do that in the first place, but I like being able to force rear wheel or force all-wheel.
Can you do that with the Durango too with the taser? I think you can, can't you?
I think it had to be that $250 taser that had the option in it. I don't think you can do it with any of the other ones.
Yeah, it's got to be the top dollar one, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, if you have an all-wheel drive, the taser is almost a must.
I mean, I get track mode with it. That was the reason I bought it, and I love that.
Yeah, if you have a 392, you get track mode. I don't get track mode.
It changes the...
Oh, one thing that's really awesome is the blinker. When you use the front blinker, it's so weird that your LEDs go out with the blinker. It's like, so
that's a law.
Oh yeah, the DRL drop, the daylight running light drop.
That's a law. Your daylight running light has to go out.
Yeah.
The reason that the daytime running light drops is that way the blinker is the prominent light that's there. If that LED is still turned on and a small little yellow light's blinking, it's kind of harder to see at a distance. So that's the reason why it's like that.
It's a safety feature.
Yeah, it looks ugly.
Well,
I agree.
It kind of goes along the same lines of like with taillights in the States and North America and stuff like that. Like with the Chargers, if you turn on your right blinker or your left blinker, your red brake light actually blinks. But other countries, other than North America, they require a separate amber bulb as a turn signal. You can't use your brake light as a turn signal. It has to be two completely different lights.
I learned that from Wheeler Dealers. You ever watch that show?
No.
The two Brits. It's an old Velocity show. It's been on forever. Whenever they buy an American car and they bring it over to England, they got to put an amber light in.
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about because I think they were like comparing like Mustangs in the U.S. versus Mustangs over in Europe and stuff like that too. They had a video doing that.
Yeah. Well, they started making right-hand drive Mustangs about a year ago.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could drive a right-hand car or at least ride passenger. You know, if you ride shotgun in a right-hand drive car.
My cousin's husband's got
like
an old he's got a Jeep Wrangler Classic, and it's an old male one. So he's driving on the right-hand side. He gets pulled over all the time, he says. Cops just like are boggled by it.
Well, it's not normal. It's nothing that you'd really expect.
Yeah, you don't see that every day. It'd take a while to get used to driving, I'd imagine.
Hey, I just want to give a couple of quick shout outs. We got Mopar Fam, DSW Joyride Productions, LB 3711, Daytona 57. Who else do I got here? E-Units out there. You know, all you guys. Thanks everyone for tuning in.
E-Unit.
Yep. And Mopar Fam actually has a question. He wants to know: is driving your car in sport mode bad? It's like daily driving. Is normal driving in sport mode bad for your car?
That's the only way I drive my car.
Sport mode all the time.
Yeah,
fine.
I hit the ignition, then I hit the sport mode. That's the first thing I do.
Sport mode on, traction control off, and drive, right?
That's the only way to drive.
That's why I make those checks every month. Not to be driving NDS on.
Gas mileage? What is that? I'm sorry for that bad joke. That was a bad one.
Is there anyone else out there that I forgot to give a shout out to?
We'll edit that one out.
Yeah. Live chat.
Do some of our Hollywood magic.
I knew I should have delay on this. You gave me an option. Do I want to put a delay? And I was like, no, let's just send it.
That's right. That's the only way to do it. Go big or go home.
So RT Life, you made that one video about the 3 mods. So from least likely to the most likely. We talked about the supercharger. We talked about the manifold. What was the third one?
It was the 6.1 intake manifold, the Edelbrock intake manifold, and then the supercharger.
Okay, so it was just the 2 manifolds. I thought there was a third completely different one.
No, the third one that's burning in my brain is the cam, and it's just I feel like if I'm gonna do the next mod to my car, I want it to be like a big splash. I want to. To be honest, I want to line up against FP2000 and crush them the next race.
I say you stroker it.
Ooh, that's a live call out to FP2000 next time, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, he raced me, he beat me, but it's just with my setup, the best that I could do is tie him, and I need to get my car in a position where the best that I could do is beat him.
Drag radius. That will do it. I guarantee you that.
Drag radios?
Yeah, for sure.
Man.
Yeah, I mean...
You got to outdrive him. That's the bottom line.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not far off from his car. He has a stock... He basically just has a stock 392. It's got a mid-muffler delete. And really, if you hopped a stock 392 onto a dyno, they're putting out about 320 in horsepower.
Yeah, I seen anywhere from 320
wheel horsepower.
So why not just put an aggressive
435.
cam?
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put it. I think a cam will get me to that area. Like my car at this point is a very like I'm right there with torque. So from a low end 0 to 70, I'm like I'm kind of there. But then, man, once we hit 75, 80, I mean, he's gone. He's just, there's another level to the 392 that my 5.7 is missing,
That's why I'm saying tires. You'll get a bigger jump on them, for sure. Especially with your equal in torque. You'll have a big time advantage. And you're not racing a full quarter mile, so the tires are going to hook up and go,
Yeah. I mean, I need to, if I'm going to race a 392, I need a big jump in order to win.
The tires is your key. You can't be doing it on those all seasons, man.
Yeah, the all season is like it's tough because there's sometimes it hits traction, and then there's other times where it's like I'm just slipping all over the place, So FP2000 he just got a brand new set of 315s, and I know he went probably summer tires too. So
yeah, sure he did.
Why don't you just go with some drag radials, dude?
If I lined up against him again, I'm gonna make sure that I hit up Mavis and get Nitto's 555R, probably 315 or 305s. I hate going back to 30. I don't want to go back. I don't want to go to 305s. I feel like 315s. It's like my schlong is that big, and then 305s is like, you know. So I don't want to shrink it, you know.
I don't know if I'm going to buy some racing. I really contemplated it, like for this next meet next week. I was just going to buy some new wheels and some new tires, and I was going to put 315s on there, or 305s.
The 315 sounds so sexy though, you know, and like you look at it on like I look at it on my car and I'm just like, oh, it's like a bulldog, you know, with oversized nuts on it. It's beautiful. You're just like, oh, it looks so beefy and
just get some more wheels. Those wheels were pretty inexpensive. Just swap them out.
I could do that. Yeah,
you know what? For 115 a piece. 4
of them on eBay, the replicas, they were, I think it was $650 or something like that. It was
that's pretty cheap.
It was yeah. So if I purchased 2 of them, if I were to purchase 2 of them again, if I were to do it all over again, I have 10-inch with rims. I would go 20 by 10.5 or 11. You know.
Yeah, I want 10.5.
I would want my footprint to be a little bit wider than the 10.
If you got 10.5, well. Do you know how much space you got with those spacers now? Have you put your fingers back there and checked it?
I'm good. I'm not rubbing nothing. With the 5mm spacers, I
mean, you got another 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch to play with if you go 10.5?
That I don't know. I need to get a flashlight. I should jack the car up. I should go to Mavis. Those knuckle chucks put the SRT hubcaps on my car, so I'm riding around with SRT rims on my car. So I have to go there anyway. I'm going to make a video about up badging again. So
if you're going to go like with new wheels and stuff like that, just to put like drag radials on, why don't you look at some racing wheels like Race Stars or something like that, to where if you're actually putting them on to race, they weigh less. So you're not only getting benefit of traction, but you have less mass to start spinning, so you can actually get a better 0 to 60 as well on that.
I'd go 18s, to be honest with you.
Yeah, 18-inch
bigger sidewall.
18, 305, and
yeah, I agree with
that sidewall to be able to grip.
So, but once you start doing that, then you're changing the overall diameter. Right?
Well, you're not going to use it as a daily driver like that. That's why you get the
overall diameter is still fine, but what you're looking for is the wheel itself weighs less. So I think it's for every 100 pounds of unsprung weight, you gain 1/10 of a second in a 1/4 mile. So basically, you go 18-inch Race Star wheels. They weigh less because are they aluminum? Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Hey, baby. So they're aluminum. They'll weigh less. They're aluminum, so they'll weigh less. Plus, you get more sidewall for the flex and the launch. Say hi to everyone.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
So yeah, I mean that's a benefit. If you're just looking for them just to do your races or 0 to 60 testing and stuff like that, I mean
that's the maximum grip you're going to get. That's the bottom line. You might be able to put 16s on that one because the brakes are so small in the rear.
All right, guys, I need a refill.
Yeah, you do.
We'll take you out of the conversation here. We'll just talk behind you.
We'll pretend he's Growls.
Well, you need a 20-ouncer.
There you go.
We'll talk about Growls. I was wondering if we were going to talk about the whole little pedal commander issue he's got.
And it's not Zima either.
It's not Zima. I looked for some today. I'm going to be honest. I was at the store. I'm like, where's the Zima? There was none.
Look what I got in the mail today.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh, I got mine the other day.
Is that cruise control?
Yeah. I don't think they're going to touch my car, though.
Well, you still got the stock PCM, don't you?
Well, yeah, it's still the stock PCM, but I don't know if they update the computer stuff in the PCM if it's going to
flash the PCM.
Yeah,
I asked them about it. I went and got my oil changed the other day, and they said, "Yeah, you have this recall." I was like, "Well, are you going to flash the PCM for it?" And he said, "Yeah." So I was like, "Don't touch it."
Yeah, don't touch my car. I guess I'm not using
mine's not doing it, so I'm like, "All right." If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah. I never use cruise control anyway. And if I do and it decides to launch me up at high speeds, I'll make Actually,
make sure you're wearing your helmet and race jacket all the time. That's what you need to do.
I just bought a dash cam for my car, so if something stupid like that happens, it'll be all in HD video.
Which one did you go with?
I don't know. I got to look it up. I bought it during Prime days.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, so it was regular 180. I bought it for 118 bucks.
Nice.
Oh, sweet. My school let me do this. Cool.
I stocked up on oil on Prime Day.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Was there a good deal on that one?
Nah, it was $7 a quart.
I got a Rexing V1 LG dual channel car dash cam. So it's 1080 in the front with 180 or 170 degree view angle, and it's only 720 in the rear, but 140 degree view angle. Actually, for the price, it's actually not that bad.
How many frames per second?
30. So 30 frames per second.
Did you install it yet? You tried it out?
I was going to install it yesterday, and I ended up changing out my purge valve instead. Made a video doing that.
Nice.
All right.
Stocking up on model cars, Johnny. Is that what you're doing?
Oh, dude, let's not talk about it. My wife doesn't know how much I spent. I got almost all the muscle time. What is it, Big Muscle it's called? I got almost all those. It's ridiculous. I went from like 4 to like 26. I've hit up every Meijer and Walmart around.
Oh, hold on. Mopar fam, you're going to check out a Durango SRT tomorrow? That's like a $80,000 SUV right there, man.
That thing's no joke.
Hey, RT life. Jeep SRT versus Durango SRT. Make it happen.
The Jeep would absolutely destroy the Durango.
It's a lot lighter, isn't it?
It wouldn't even be a race. It would be like watching a tortoise versus a hare.
That means Mopar fam needs to go and check out this Durango SRT, buy it, do some 0 to 60s, and show you wrong.
No, you know what? Here's the thing. It's like, okay, so what would win in a race? A Jeep SRT or a Jeep SRT with like 800 pounds in the back? Tell me which one would win.
Well, the race I would have is you put 7 people in each one and then race.
7 people can't fit it in the Jeep SRT.
7 people can fit in the Durango.
Well, the Durango has a third row. You can put
you can put 7 people in it. My brother-in-law's got one.
The Durango is a badass ride, you know, but it's like a truck. Basically, it looks badass, it sounds badass, but really, it's not meant for you to be like, hey, let me race. Like the Jeep SRT, you can line up against Chargers and beat the living pants off of it. You know, like those Jeeps can move, man.
That is a very, very valid point. That Jeep SRT will take down a stock RT, no problem.
It wouldn't take it down; it would destroy it from a 0 to about 100.
Well,
I mean that Jeep. When I drove it and did a 0 to 60, my head was like snapping back. I'm like, holy shit!
Has it got the 8-speed too? The torque fight?
Yeah, it has 8-speed torque flight, all-wheel drive. It is the most beautiful combination with almost 500 horsepower. It's
Does it have 4-wheel drive? Can you lock it into 4-wheel on that thing?
There's that knob. You can do 2-wheel, 4-wheel, snow, sport.
Yeah, but there's no it's all-wheel drive, not 4-wheel drive, right? You can't lock.
The knob
can't lock the dips up.
The knob in the center is for your like track mode and
your modes.
Yeah, it doesn't have like
4x4 mode.
I think it does have that I would have to ask my wife. She drives the damn thing all day. So I just go down. I just get in it and just rip down roads. You know, like I put it in track mode and just
and abuse it.
Yeah,
Seriously,
I don't really.
How did you actually talk your wife into it?
Oh, that's funny. She took me out into the city for I think it was my birthday or something. We were having a couple drinks, and you know, she was kind of a little on the tipsy side, and we just got we just started talking about my car or whatever, and I was like, well, you know, she voiced her displeasure with the Lincoln, so I said, well, what car would you want? And she said a Jeep, and I was like, would you consider getting a Jeep SRT? And she said, yeah, I would love that. That's what I wanted. And so I said, if I helped you make the payments, would you get it? And she said, hell yeah. So like a week later, it was in our driveway. So
women love Jeeps, man. That's a fact.
Yeah. So your wife wants a Jeep SRT. My wife goes and changes my desktop to. It's kind of hard to see. She basically modified it and it says Mopar sucks.
Oh, ouch!
that stings a little.
So it was a photo of my son washing my car, but she goes in and erases the spray nozzle and puts a Sharpie on there. It says permanent marker and writes Mopar sucks.
Go buy some of that race fuel. That'll even her out.
I love my Monty SS so much. Like I'll drive it daily, and I like that it's front wheel drive, so it plows through terrible weather so good. But it does not fit with a Jeep SRT, a Charger RT, and then you have a Chevy there. You know,
it's a redheaded stepchild.
It really is. You know, like I'll take some Instagram photos, and I'm like, you know what? I love my Monty, but it's just like I think it might need to go.
I'd say drive until she dies.
Shoot, I say get a Dart and turbocharge it.
They should have sold those.
That would be fun.
There's a guy here in Colorado. He's got his Dart running 28 pounds of boost. He runs
Holy crap.
11s at altitude, mind you.
They got slips on the front?
Yes. So basically, he had no intent to actually go this far with his Dodge Dart, but he kind of modded it a little bit and basically had a catastrophic failure and had to do a full rebuild. And he figures, you know, in for a dime, in for a dollar, and he just built the entire car.
That's impressive.
It looks pretty good, but, you know, sorry if somebody out there drives a Dart. It looks like a miniature Charger, in my opinion.
A micro machine?
A micro machine Charger, yeah.
Remember that guy used to talk real fast?
You better lock it up with that crap, Slamus.
Shoot, if there's a little more ass to him, I would have bought one, but
everybody says that. Oh, the Charger and the Dart look the same. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I like the Dart.
You guys are looking at the car then.
I like the Dart too, but you know, I don't know. You know what? I don't see it, but a lot of people do. I think the Charger.
It's the tail lights, man.
It's the roundness of the body. So it wasn't until the 15 Charger when you put them out there side by side, they look pretty close.
15 Charger is so sexy. I love it.
You should get one.
We have two 15 plus. We have two torque flights versus two 5-speeders.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Old school, new school.
Yeah, and the fastest one here is the 5-speed, right?
That needed 15 grand put into it.
17.
I think if you take it down to 1,000 feet, it might blow up.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was supposed to go to Julesburg, Colorado, and Julesburg has the nation's oldest drag strip, and that's a little over 3,000 feet. And I was going to take it over there, and I was actually kind of worried if I go down and cut 3,000 feet of elevation, if my car is actually going to be able to handle that.
I'd be worried, man. You put a lot of power to the ground.
Because you know, the thing is, and you know, a lot of people don't understand this, but when I say my car is pushing almost 600 all-wheel horsepower, whenever people are talking about their dyno numbers, that's with correction. So at sea level, I'd be pushing almost 600 wheel horsepower. In reality, up here at altitude, I'm running more like
it's like 541, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like low 500s or something like that. So I mean,
I was telling Das the other day, I'm like, I don't know how the hell you do it, man. You know, like every video, you got to explain that you're in high altitude. That's got to be the most annoying thing ever. You have one of the biggest beasts of an RT, and every video you got to be like, I'm in high altitude, so please, you know, like.
Please take that into consideration, and people. And people still sit there like, well, you know, I got a cam on my Charger and I run 12, so I can beat you. I'm like, dude, if I came down to sea level, I'd be like running low 11, so suck it.
Ooh. Saucy.
I just need to make a high altitude video and just put it in the link of every single one of my videos. It's like, before you sit here and slam the car, watch this.
They should just put in your intro. Just put in your intro.
See, like what I would do is I wouldn't even show times though. Like I really wouldn't. If I was high altitude, I would race other cars, show everybody that I'm spanking them, and that's just the bottom line. You know, like boom, that's it. I crushed a stock whatever or a modded whatever. You know what I mean? So
there's a mod idea for your RT. What if you did nitrous?
No. Absolutely not.
Staying away from the bottle?
No.
What about E85? You got it around you?
No, I don't have E85 around me. Actually,
I thought about doing that.
I do have E85 around me. Now that I think about it, there's a gas station right up the block. But will I see that much of a horsepower jump?
The guy I talked to at the dyno meet, that guy in the white scat pack that's putting down like almost 700 horsepower. Remember that dude, Procharger?
Uh-huh.
And I asked him, because he dumped like 25 grand in his motor. I'm like, well, mine's stock, and you've done all this work. What would you recommend I do first? And he said E85. He said he's seen about 75 horsepower.
Really?
And that's not too expensive.
No, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, that's a good jump for that.
It's also safer to run E85 because the octane level is a lot higher.
Yeah, it depends on where you go. He had a little tester and everything in his trunk.
Yeah, well, that's true. So I did a video on one of the Hellcat guys in his car. The car will automatically test the E85 to make sure it's actually E85. If it's not, it'll actually adjust the tune to run on that fuel.
Dude, I could probably get an E85 tune for free.
Yeah, well, and you know, the thing is, just because you get the E85 tune, you need to make sure the station that you're getting it from is actually E85, because a lot of people, they advertise E85, but they're like E60.
Yeah.
So, and if you're running hard, tuned for E85, and you put in what you think is E85 and it's actually E60, you'll toast your car. Again, we start getting into that really more complex level of modding cars, because like I was talking to you earlier today, when you go and supercharge a car, can I daily drive it? Yes. Can I still use it like a normal car? Absolutely. But I've lost the luxury of being able to go in, just push start on the car and drive. It's like starting a jet plane. You know, you got to start the car, let it idle, make sure everything gets in there just right, and check and monitor oil temperatures and coolant temperatures and air fuel ratios. And I got gauges everywhere I got to watch.
See, I don't want to do that shit, man. I just want to get in my car and just thump down the road, you know, boom. I don't want to do that. By the way, HemiFam asked where Lou is. Lou is doing well.
Everybody loves Lou.
Everybody loves Lou.
I love Lou.
I love Lou too.
He's Lou the mechanic.
You know what? I think I'm going to have Lou back on the channel for a throttle body install. I'm gonna I want to see how he handles that. He helped me with the oil catch can. He helped me with a couple other things, but he's funny. He has a funny delivery to him, you know. So
yeah, he's got good body language.
Yeah, and he's always pissed off. He's like,
It seems like, yeah, he's always irritated.
yeah, but it's like he's pissed off, but he's not really pissed. He's just an interesting guy, you know. So yeah, I'm gonna have him back on the channel. I'm just waiting for the right modification to get him.
Doesn't he have a Stang? Does he have a Stang?
Yeah, he has a Mustang. Yep.
He should review it.
Well, you know what I did? I took it for a test drive. I didn't
remember that video.
You know what? He took me for a spin, and basically I just did like an overview of this car.
That's like way back. That's an old video there.
That's really old.
Is that when you did the Camaro one too, around that time? That was like a year and a half ago. A year ago.
Dude, I have like, what do I have? Like 650 videos now?
Oh no.
I have no clue. I wake up every day and I'm just like, I need to make a video. It's ridiculous.
Just wanted to shout out to Burnsies. He just joined us here. He's probably missing the shout out because he's putting Rugrats to bed. But Daytona 5.7 asked what I thought about the Edelbrock Supercharger. RT Life, I'm going to divert that one to you because you did a little research on that one, didn't you?
I did do a little bit of research on the Edelbrock. I thought that the overall technology that the Edelbrock was giving out was awesome. The system is great, but to be honest with you, if you're going to plop it on a stock Hemi, I think you're going to have issues. I really do. So that's ultimately why I didn't really go down that, or I'm not going to go down that route. It is almost $9,000 for that setup. Okay, when you add, taxes and everything like that, and then I priced it out for the installation, and it's about $1,500. And you guys brought up really good points. And that is that the Hemi runs extremely hot. And for you to put a forced air system without it being cooled down first it's risky. And so that's why I think the Procharger route is actually a lot better, So
talking about like the running hot and everything like that. So if you guys haven't done a 180-degree thermostat mod for your car, do it. It's going to be a great one. It's cheap and easy to do. I think Build It RT has a video of how to do it.
Just briefly explaining on where it goes. I mean, it's so simple. It's 2 bolts. You're supposed to flush your coolant system or your coolant out of there, but I didn't do it. It took me all of 10 minutes, and that is getting the box out of the garage, grabbing my tools, popping the hood, taking the 2 bolts out, and popping the thermostat out. I mean, it's an easy thing to do, and anybody can do it.
And there's a lot of videos out there. There's people that have like little hacks that you can put like a Ziploc bag in there that'll catch all the coolant and everything for you, so there's no mess. So if it's something that you guys don't know how to do, just check out some of those videos. But I strongly suggest doing that, even if you are just lightly modded. It's a great one to do. The Edelbrock Supercharger, just touching back with that one, there was somebody here a few years ago in Colorado that put it on their charger. So the only change they did, they went from stock to the Edelbrock Supercharger. Stock RTs, he did it in an all-wheel drive charger. Stock all-wheel drive chargers run low 15s up here. So he was running low 15s, did the Edelbrock Supercharger, and was running mid 13s. So if you're looking at possibly doing that, expect to shave, about a second and a half off your quarter-mile time.
See, you know what the problem is with these systems, and this is something that I have been looking into. I love my car, okay? And so the problem that I have with a lot of the research that I come across is that nobody gives you follow-up stuff, okay? So I could go ahead and put a modification on my car, and you know what? The person makes the video, and they never follow up on the modification and let you know how it affected the Hemi 3 months later, 4 months later. So you go and you do this modification, like the Edelbrock Supercharger, and you can run, shave 2 seconds off your time, and then 2 months later, your engine blows because you're jamming forced air in there not properly. You know what I mean?
Is that what happened with Family Cruisins?
No. No, something else happened
with that. I missed that video when he blew up the Hellcat.
I'm not really sure what happened with Paul, but I'm you know, I don't know.
You seen poor Much wrecked his car.
What, the Demon?
Yeah.
No. Wait, what happened?
SRT Mush. You follow him, right?
Yeah.
He wrecked his Demon at the track.
Yeah, I saw that.
I just watched a video of him partnering it back together.
And RT, just for the follow-up videos for people doing boosted cars, I'm 13 months strong on mine. So it's still working.
Before I forget, Dawes, I've been wanting to ask you, is the Procharger technically a turbo or is it a supercharger?
It's a centrifugal supercharger. So the compressor side of it is like a turbo, but instead of running off exhaust gases, it's actually belt-driven. So by definition, it is a supercharger, and it's classified as a centrifugal supercharger.
It's a supercharger. It's belt-driven.
Centrifugal supercharger. It gives you the benefits of having the blow-off valve and stuff like that, like a turbo has. And then you can actually run it through an intercooler. The only other ways, like the positive displacement superchargers, you could have any sort of cooling effect, is they'll sandwich an air-to-water intercooler in between the supercharger and the top of your engine. And when you start adding stacks of stuff on top of your engine, you start running out of room, so you can't close your hood. So then you end up having to buy an aftermarket hood or modify your hood in order to just close it over the supercharger.
A turbo's better, though, right?
A turbo is much better. Yes, a turbo is much better, but it's a lot more expensive and a lot more complex to install. If money were turbo, I'd turbo it.
There's a guy on one of the Facebook groups I follow, and he had a twin turbo 392.
Turbo Jigsaw, right? What do you mean had? What happened?
He wrecked it like 4 weeks later after he had the build done.
Isn't that the guy that he blew his engine? Oh my God. There is a guy, I swear, on YouTube. He's hysterical. He comes onto my videos and starts dicking around, challenging me to, like, he's like, Diablo is inferior to HP and all this other bullshit. And I go to his channel and I'm like, oh my God, I watched this guy's video before. He's trying to school me on tuning, and he blew his 392 up. Literally blew up his motor. And I kept it civil. I didn't say anything about it, but I was like, I remember watching this guy. He put forced air on a 392, tuned it with HHP, and then he has to rebuild his entire engine. But then he comes onto my channel and tries to lay some knowledge on me. It's kind of like it was such an odd situation, to have someone.
My car is HP tuned. My car is tuned through an HP tuner, but not saying that HP tuner is better than Diablo or Diablo is better than HP tuner. It really comes down to the person doing the tune.
Yeah, no, Diablo's better.
There's the person with the slow RT.
I'm saying that.
Yeah, says the person with the slow RT. So make sure everyone understands.
Hey, if I put 5 pounds of boost, I would romp you. I would romp you with 5 pounds.
Oh, you're 500 pounds lighter.
I'm always wrong, man.
But I have an 8-speed business.
That's true.
Hey, did you see the video that I just did? I raced another 8-speed Challenger. Well, they weren't boosted, so it doesn't really count. So never mind. Yes,
you should have raced that jet car.
Yeah. Well, hey. So, do you guys watch Cletus McFarland at all?
No.
He's got a C5 Corvette that's completely stripped out, and
the buggy looking thing
with twin turbos and all this other stuff. He was actually up here in Colorado just last week doing the streetcar takeover, and even at altitude, he was able to pull an 8.2 second quarter mile.
Wow.
And that 8.2 second quarter mile is faster than the first jet car in that video that I posted, because that jet car did it in 8.8.
Those jet cars aren't that fast, really.
The second one did it in like 6.3. That one was fast. But sorry if I already answered this. Daytona 5.7 stock internals. You are correct. Burnsy's RT had a question. He's never driven a car with supercharger before. Does it drive closer to a turbo or NA motor? Turbo lag is a bizarre ass thing. So it depends on the supercharger that you're driving. If you're doing a positive displacement supercharger similar to what Hellcat or the Demon has, it just feels like a car with a bigger motor. If you have a centrifugal supercharger like what I have, there is a little bit of surge, I guess is what they call it, a little bit of boost surge. So you hit the gas, and as the RPMs go, it has that gradual suck into the back of into the back of the seat. And then turbo, as you may well know, unless you get that turbo spool in there, it takes days for that thing to get going.
Have you guys ever driven a turbo car?
Yes. I have a turbo
every
car
day
in the garage right now.
It is so funky. I've driven one time, and it was this slow ass Saab or something like that, and it had a turbo in it. And I'm driving along, and I like really hit the gas, and it's going nowhere. And then the turbo spools up, and it like kicks me back. It was interesting. It feels like almost like I felt like it had like nitrous or something. It was wild.
Yeah, almost every diesel's turboed.
Well, I have a turboed Honda Civic in the garage, and factory turbo, not aftermarket or anything like that.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Why do you not have it on the channel? What is that?
It's a completely stock EXT, so it's EX Turbo Honda Civic.
With the turbo?
Yeah. It's got Earth Dream Turbo. It's factory.
Why
When
would
did that
you
come
not
out from
that?
factory?
What's that?
When did that come out from factory? What year is that?
2016. 2016, they came out with the turbocharged Honda Civic. But
Get out of here.
it is a
1.8 liter?
1.6 liter turbocharged car.
How much horsepower is in it? How much?
It's like 100. It's like 140 horsepower.
What?
Oh.
It has a turbo and only 180 horsepower?
Yeah, but it's a
1.6.
It's a turbocharged motorcycle engine.
That is essentially what it is. So it's 1.6 liter. So if you can imagine 1.6 liter at altitude, that car has no power whatsoever. You're ready to make a left-hand turn into an intersection, and you think you have like a football field to get into, and you hit that gas, and you almost stall out as you're rolling off the line. As you're halfway through that turn, thinking that you're going to get T-boned by one of these cars, that turbo kicks in, and you're squealing tires and taking off.
Sounds like fun.
Maybe I need to do a video on that car.
There you go.
Do a couple of them.
Yeah.
What not to buy?
I think I actually I showed that car once when I was doing the 5 things I miss about my Procharge all-wheel drive Charger, because it was in the shop getting some work done, and I was actually driving that car.
I'll tell you, when I put any kind of car other than my car on the channel, it does like shit. The only other car was the Demon that did well. I put my Monty, which flops every video. I put the Jeep that flops every time. You know, like any
would be a big deal for your channel, man.
What?
I figured the Jeep would be a big deal with that 392 and everything.
Dude, I thought it was gonna be a really good, and then I started making a couple of videos, and I'm like, man, you know, nobody watches this stuff, so I just stopped making videos for it, you know, because my wife wants to do a full Borla catback exhaust. She's crazy. I was like, can we just do a mid muffler delete?
Do the full Borla, because my neighbor has the Borla Attack on his Grand Cherokee Overland, so it's only the 5.7. But the thing sounds amazing. I couldn't even imagine what it'd sound like on a 392.
Yeah. So she wants to do that. She wants to drop the thing. And I'm like, you know, she's making it a car that I want to like actually steal from her, you know?
So I had to drive her car today.
I want to take her car all the time. It is so much fun. It is like I romp the living shiznit out of that thing. I swear
You should take it off road.
It can handle it too.
Oh yeah, it's a Jeep, bud.
It has that adjustable suspension too, right? You can raise and lower it on the fly.
Yup. Yeah, it's fun. I mean, I'm like, I'm gonna take the Jeep to get some milk, and man, I find some open road, and it's like, whoa, you know, it is fun. It is fun. Yeah.
Hey, YouTubing on a budget showed up. So what's up, YouTubing on a budget?
Wow. That's big league right there. YouTubing on a budget. He just got back from a vacation too.
He came here just to see you.
Me? No. He's here for the DOS. So build it. What's your next mod, man?
Well, that's kind of a hard choice. I'm really thinking I'm going to do.
Thought about it? Have you thought about it? Have you thought about it, or are you good with where you're at?
I really want to do the camshaft because there's so many benefits to it, power and torque wise. But at the same time, I don't think my engine's ready for it. I think I need to do an intake manifold first, and I'll probably end up doing the heads and the camshaft at the same time. That's what I'm thinking. It makes the most logical decision to do it that way, because if you're taking the camshaft out, you have to take all the internals out of the heads and then put all the new internals into the heads. So you might as well just take the heads off and put new heads on while you're there and doing it. I mean,
that's you're there anyway. You might as well do it.
Exactly. I mean, I priced out heads from what was that called? Mopar Muscle or something like that. I can't remember. I'll find the link. But it is $1,200, and that is a core charge too, to get the heads sent. So then you ship them back, and you're really only paying $600 for both heads. So it's
That's not bad.
So
yeah, I mean, I think CompCam has an entire set you can get, and they actually send you all the internals for them. So you can actually build the internals on the heads first. So then all you have to do is just pull the head off.
I got somebody local here that's actually trying to sell a cam for an RT for a 5.7 from CompCam. I'll have to talk to him. If somebody's interested, you can just let me know, and I can try and get you hooked up here for that.
All right. So I have a fun little topic. Okay, you ready? Das, why don't you get a 392?
He's invested in his car way too much already.
Why
I
didn't
have to
you
have
get a
all-wheel drive,
392?
and we won't get into why I need an all-wheel drive, but I have to have an all-wheel drive. So I tried to buy a Jeep SRT, and I got a big hell no from my wife on that one.
Oh, okay.
So without any other options to get an all-wheel drive 392 that would be acceptable by the wife, that's why I'm staying with this all-wheel drive 5.7.
All right, so build it. Why? What are you doing, man? Why don't you just get a 392?
You know, I don't want to get on the hype. You know, I'm unique. I like to be unique. Everyone wants to go get the 392. Like, get the big engine, go for it. And it's just like, you know, I would like to. But how often can you get a 5.7 to beat a 392?
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm right there with you. I feel like a lot of people, they think they're by having that engine that their schlong size is going to be bigger or something. Like it's like a.
That's the reason I got it. I had a little penis, and I need my penis this big.
But you could tell, like you know, like it's
you still need a microscope to see that, Johnny.
I got one.
It's interesting to see
telescope.
How people just Jones for that 392, and rather than just building that 5.7, it's funny to watch people do it, and that's a common question that people continuously ask is, why don't you just go with the 392? And
I feel like I need a safe space. I'm being bullied here.
You are being bullied. You think you're better than us?
Oh, I so do. Well, I know. I don't think it. I know it.
I get the question all the time, why don't I just buy a Hellcat? And, you know, like you guys are saying, it's nicer to be unique, because if you buy a Hellcat, everybody gets a Hellcat. Everyone puts a smaller pulley on it. Everyone gets a custom tune, and then you go out to the track and you run 10s. You know, everybody has a Hellcat, and those are dime a dozen now. Good night, guys. If you get an RT to start putting down some numbers like that, then people start paying attention because they're like, hey, that car's not supposed to be able to do that. And the cool thing about it, like kind of like RT Life's doing, he'll go and race with Scat Pack, and his RT will edge him out, half the time, majority of the time, depending on what traction you get for your launch. But when you have an RT against like a 392 and you win, everyone goes, oh, holy crap, the RT just won. If you lose, everyone goes, yeah, well, it was a 392. So it's a win-win race when you race with a smaller engine.
Yeah. And too, think about this. I paid $2,100 or $21,000 for my RT. An SRT was $32,000 when I bought mine. So there's an extra $11,000 there that I could put into the car. I could probably put $5,000 into it and actually get the same performance out of that 392.
But you don't get the cool little SRT badge, man.
You know, you can have your SRT badge and shove up your ass. I don't care.
Technically, can't I go SRT because I'm a supercharged RT?
Nope. See, the way that I looked at it is this. If I were to get a 392, I would mod it, and then I would consistently be nipping the toes of a Hellcat. And the gap between a 392 and a Hellcat is far greater than a 5.7 to a 392. So no matter which avenue I chose, I would want to modify the car to be on a similar playing field as the model above it. So does this not make sense? No matter what you have, you're always going to want a little bit more, right? So you're going to just keep modding and you're going to keep modding. So it's like, why not just mod the one that I like my car. Why not just keep it and mod it? You know, like that's just the way I think of it.
Well, I mean, that's true. I mean, people have bought Demons and they haven't kept them stock. They're already modding those things.
Yeah, that's 840 horsepower. If we were all like logical, we'd be like, you know, let's all just drive around Priuses. Now, if we were all like, what is the end game to horsepower? You have a beast, Das. You have a monster on your hands. And every time I talk to you, you're like, well, I'm looking into this modification. You know, like, when does it end, though? You know, like, so no matter what your starting point
it ends at top fuel. That's where it ends.
Yeah.
When you're pushing out 40,000 horsepower. That's the end game.
But even then, you're like, you know what? I have 1,000 horsepower or 1,200 horsepower. How could I make the car more efficient now to utilize that horsepower? So it's just like it's a constant game in your brain.
It's really. Go ahead.
I think you're doing it just because this is your hobby. So regardless if you have a Kia and want to mod it all the way to a Hellcat, you're always just thinking of the next mod that you want. So you might as well just start at the bottom and just have some fun with it.
And climb the ladder, so to say, right?
Exactly.
So really quick here, I'm kind of jumping around. So Dodge Boy 90501 said simply 1320. Are you wanting us to talk about the new Scat Pack 1320?
It's got to be.
Yeah. So those of you that don't know, there's 1,320 feet and a quarter mile. That's why they named it 1320. It's essentially a Scat Pack drag pack. But I have an interesting theory on this. I think Dodge is actually building up the Scat Pack to replace the SRT 392, and the SRT is probably going to be reserved for Hellcats and Demons. Because
I agree with you there. Totally. I can see that. Because the SRT8 was kind of a joke. Why pay $10,000 for suspension?
Right, because really this argument out there, they're like, okay, is a Scat Pack an SRT, yes or no? No, I'm going to say a Scat Pack is a 392.
It's an RT. It comes with RT badge.
392 RT. But there's people out there that are actually putting down the SRT 392 numbers, or if not faster than the SRT 392s in their Scat Packs. So really, that SRT 392 probably needs to fade away.
So here's something else to think about, too. For baseline, for the RT, I think they should boost it up to 392 for the baseline because the 5.7 is a technology that's from 2006 and 2009. I mean, it just depends on what year you got that Charger for the 2006 and 2009 because the Eagle heads didn't come out until 2009. So it went from 345 horsepower to 370, and we're talking about a Mustang now that is a 5.0 and it makes 400. So really phasing out the 5.7 for it to be the baseline would kind of make sense, but at the same time, I think if they were to do the SRT and bring back the 426 and make that the SRT,
that would be awesome.
See, that's what I think. I think that's what's going to happen. I think
that's the day I go to the dealership. I'll tell you that right now.
Right now, they're just throwing all kinds of crap against the wall. They're spaghetti throwing at this point. They're taking all the loose parts. They're putting together packages. They're trying to increase profits by making everything almost identical, interchangeable parts, et cetera, et cetera. I think in 2020, they are going to come back to a formula that's similar to when they were in 2005, 2006. They're going to come back with an RT, a 5.7 that is jacked up at probably 400, a little bit over 400 horsepower. I think they're going to go with an entry-level SRT at the 426. And then they're going to have their Hellcat. It's going to be a three trim V8, and then probably a turbo 4 or something like that below it. The only reason why I think the 5.7 will remain in the lineup is not because it's a good performance car, a performance engine or anything. I think it's just so cost effective for them.
Yeah, and they throw it in everything, trucks, cars.
Exactly.
They get them so cheap.
If you look at the cost per car in the V8 lineup, the 5.7 is the cheapest because the engine is the cheapest to produce. So they slap it in a Charger or a Challenger, and their profits are greater. So they're not doing it because the 5.7 is this great performance engine. It's a great engine. I love the 5.7. It's tough as nails. But they're doing it because they're a company looking to make money. And that's why they're going to continue keeping that in the lineup. Hopefully they just increase the horsepower, though.
Yeah, because the 5.7 in the Ram trucks, aren't those 390 horse?
Yep.
Yeah, they are.
So change a few of the internals, whatever, and there you go. There's your 400.
They should make an aluminum 5.7.
Save some weight, right?
Yeah, that's the downfall of Mopar is the weight.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, but I like that big booty. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes for a nice ride. It really is comfortable.
It's smooth, man. It's like a Cadillac on the highway. It's beautiful. It's smooth, and it's what makes us different than the Camaro and the Mustang. And a lot of people, they can knock us for all we want, but you don't walk into a biker bar with a bunch of dudes in Harleys and you walk off be like my Ninja's faster than yours. It's like, who gives a shit?
My screen is hot shit.
Yeah, dude, we're driving Harleys, okay? Who gives a shit? We do burnouts. We freaking
the most way to turn gas and money into loud noise and no power.
Yeah, we have the best cars on the road. They're good looking. They're muscle cars, and that's totally different than what's out there today. So
Growls is here. Let's have a toast to Growls.
Growls,
what's up, man?
Growl. Anybody have a Zima?
Hey, Growls, shoot me your email. I'll invite you in.
Yeah, let's let Growl.
I need a refill.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab a refill while Growl sends that text message.
And if anybody hasn't liked the video, now would be a great time to hit that like button. Help.
It's the B5 show now.
Oh, it's just us?
Yeah, just me and you, buddy.
Let's talk about the pedal commander.
Let's hear more about this 392 bullshit.
What? Okay. Let's race.
I'm ready, bud. I know how to drive.
I would love to put my Charger up against RT's.
I would whoop your ass.
It'd be pretty good.
Gone after 80, dude. I'd have
no. After 80, it would. I think I would get you. I would jump.
Has your car ever seen 80? To be honest with you, has it seen 100 miles an hour?
No,
I didn't think so.
No. I think the fastest I've gotten was about 110, $110.
$110.
No, you know what? It would be fun to race you. You have the long tube headers on there. You have a nice little setup going. But I think
that's loud as hell, man. I'll tell you that right now. That car is loud.
Yeah. So I think
it got me in trouble the other day. I'll tell you that.
The police get you?
So I was going to ask you guys this, and I was going to tell you about the little story. But so I was on my way to work on Thursday morning, and I'm turning onto the main street to be able to go down to work. And I was like, you know what? Open road, no one's around. I'm going to do a pull. So I take off and I do a small pull from 40 to about 50. And all of a sudden I see lights coming around the corner. I'm just like, oh, shit. So they pull me over and they go, we didn't get your speed, but that car is loud as hell.
Dude, it is loud. Have you been behind your car when somebody else is driving it?
No, I have not.
You should do that. You should try that. It's loud, bro. It is.
I mean, I've had my window down a few times going down tunnel.
No, it ain't the same. When you're behind that thing, 30 feet, and you got full throttle going on, man, it's like, whoa. I mean, it surprised me when me and Shaka were at the Waffle House with you, and we started ours up first, and yours started. I was like, wow, that's loud. Because our cars are loud, but yours is like 11. You know what I mean? And you still got resonators, don't you?
What's that?
Do you have resonator?
I do not. It's basically a glass pack.
Okay, there you go. Makes sense.
Glass pack all the way
so
back
after the cats, you're basically just glass pack.
There's no cats either.
Oh.
No, this thing is loud, man. This is no joke. This thing screams when it goes on the highway. And it shakes the windows of your car.
Well, I know.
Dude, Johnny can even tell you from that burnout I did from the Toledo meet.
Yo, how do you edit your videos? Build it. What do you do to edit your videos?
So I basically shoot everything on my phone.
Okay.
And I have a video editor on my phone. It actually works pretty well.
Is there a way for you to adjust the volume?
He's got an iPhone, just like that.
There is a feature on it to adjust the volume, but it doesn't really help that much, I don't think.
Okay, because I mean, I had so many people complain about the drone in my videos, and so in iMovie there's a setting that allows you to reduce the bass on there, and since then I haven't had anyone complain about it. So your car is loud as hell. And so sometimes when you're talking, you're just like, that exhaust is like going banana sandwiches, Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up because I just bought this MacBook Pro and I'm now using iMovie to start editing my movies. I was wondering if there's a way to try to cut back some of that drone, because if I don't have my lapel mic on and I'm just filming just from the phone, it picks up that drone like crazy.
All right, I'll teach you how to do it offline. I charge $30 an hour.
Perfect. I'll send that check right over to you.
Check's in the mail, right?
So the question I was going to ask originally was, we'll start down the line. We'll start with Doss. How many tickets or how many times have you been pulled over in your current car?
I've been pulled over 3 times, no tickets.
3 times, no tickets.
3 times, no tickets.
That's a good record right there.
Yeah, it is.
One was for 10 over the speed limit, and I kind of looked at the cop and I was like, really? 10 over? Another one was for window tint. I think he just wanted to see the car. And then and the last one was he said it was a yellow or a red light. I said it was a yellow light, but I got a warning on that one too.
So RT.
Okay, so we're talking pulled over for any moving violations, right?
Any moving violations, speeding.
Okay, so here's the honest truth. I've only had issues with police officers when I'm not moving. Okay, so basically like meets and shit like that when we're doing burnouts and stuff. But I've never gotten pulled over with my Charger. Like daily driving. Ever. But my Monte Carlo, I get pulled over probably...
Your limo tint?
Yeah, I probably get pulled over 1 or 2 times a month with that thing.
Why don't you just rip that shit off?
Because I like the privacy.
No, I don't blame you.
How
private? You're not having a lot of privacy. You get pulled over twice a month, bud.
Dude, you know what? There are some times where I want to pick my nose and I don't want everyone to see it. You know?
As long as you don't eat it, you're good, bud.
Right here.
Here. Pick me a winner. All right, go ahead, Johnny. You're up, buddy.
I've been pulled over once, and this was recently. I was up in Michigan at a wedding, and State Boy got me, and I wasn't speeding. I was even in the left lane. And so I was like, oh, man, I'm getting pulled over. So he comes up. I think he just wanted to check the car out, to be honest with you. He goes, your license plate cover is too tinted. I said, seriously? All right. He's like, yeah, you can't have that in this state. I was like, all right, bud. I'm not from this state, but I'll know that for next time. I'll just take the plate cover off.
My back license plate is spray painted.
It's not even dark, dude. It's not. It's like barely tinted. You can still see like the hologram of the plate through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'm sure that if you were to run a red light and they would try to snap a photo, you wouldn't.
Dude, they did. I got a ticket in New York. I seen my license plate with the tint cover on it.
I'll tell you,
clear as day.
Man, they pick your pocket like crazy up here.
Oh, dude, I don't even know what I did wrong, man.
Like, or the tollway or something like that.
I don't know. Like, I stopped at every toll toll booth. I stopped at every one of them. I don't know what I did wrong. I guess maybe I went down a road I wasn't supposed to go down. I don't know.
That's it, man. We just take your money.
That's funny. It's because me and Shaka were, bumper to bumper. And he had to pay $2 more than me. He got one for 19, mine was 17.
Shaka looked so pissed when we showed up at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Oh, dude.
He was like, fucking New York.
I guess he had it out in the car waiting.
Man, he was just done. He was done driving. He's just like, you New Yorkers, man, driving is just insane.
I swear I heard him yelling at one time when we were stuck in traffic. I swear it was him.
He's a big boy. I wouldn't want to cut him off.
No, God, no.
Bending into a goddamn pretzel.
He's got arms as big as my legs.
Yeah, no, I like greeted him. I'm like, well, you're a mountain.
Yeah, that's no joke. Hey, dude, he's awesome. He's a really super cool cat.
Yeah, definitely.
He's got that southern hospitality for sure.
All right. How many people do we have up here? Okay, it's 8 people still watching this.
What's wrong with you guys? Don't go to bed.
Damn, it's 8:30. We've been doing this for an hour and a half, Thomas.
Yeah, well.
Still early for me. 10:30.
It's still late out here. It's still
I can't believe this. There's 8 people watching, though. After an hour and a half?
Hell yeah.
We must be pretty good.
No, see YouTube and says no.
Yeah, touche. All right.
I'm excited for this meet next week. That's going to be tits.
Oh, yeah.
We're up in Joliet, Illinois.
Right.
Yeah, I say Illinois, so everybody curses me out. It's Illinois. That's a silent. Remember, like Louisville.
Wait, it's Illinois or Illinois?
It's the S is silent. It's Illinois.
That's what I say. Illinois. That's what I say. Okay, good.
So Johnny, you got signed up to do the shootout, right?
Oh yeah, I'm in the Hemi shootout. Hopefully they'll let me participate because I do have a plug in one of my tires.
Hold on, guys. The albino rhino has
no way
with his presence.
The fire.
The albino rhino.
Fire.
Another 392 in here.
Fight anymore.
That dude is.
He's got the Destroyer Gray.
He is a wild guy with that exhaust setup that he just put in place. He is going to not just wake up his block. He's going to wake up his fucking town when he does a cold start.
He's going to wake up the dead with that thing, dude. That's going to be nasty.
Yeah. It's like, hey, good morning. Hello.
It probably shakes the windows of his house when he starts the car, I'm sure.
After driving in like an hour in that thing, I bet you he's going to his ears are going to start bleeding.
Just turn off the radio more so you don't have to listen to it. It's tired.
I don't think that will help. I don't think the radio goes high enough.
I had a straight pipe setup that was
That lasted a week.
It lasted 1 week. I was driving along and I looked back in my behind in the car seat. My son was sitting there like this. I was like, all right, I like the sound, but you know what? I can't do this to the little guy.
Yeah, he's gonna be wearing hearing aids at the age of 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna like make my son deaf.
That's one good thing for me about having kids.
Lucky bastard. You have nothing but time on your hands without the little squirts around.
Tell me about it, man.
I really don't have time. Hell, I'm a Java developer. I don't have time.
Oh, you're a coder?
Yeah.
Nice.
I went to school for coding. I realized I wasn't smart enough to hang out with you guys.
It takes a special breed. It does.
That stuff sucks. I've tried doing it. It's awful.
Steve, people were talking about your shirt. What's your shirt say? Stand up so we can see.
It says,
"Don't talk, build it." There you go.
Yeah, it's got the logo on the back too.
Oh, perfect. You got marketing.
I showed it off a little bit in my one video. Mainly, I just wanted to get a shirt and test out the quality of it.
I got Levi's. I'm sponsored by Levi's. Not really.
Nice. RT's over there rooting for the Jets.
I don't root for the Jets.
I'm just teasing. I see your Giant shirt.
Giants all the way, man. Oh, you saw?
Yeah. And why? My $17.
Don't tell me you're a Giants fan, right?
I am a Giants fan.
It's better than the Jets.
Well, you guys been to the Super Bowl more than we have, so I'll give you that.
Dude, try being a Lions fan, buddy. Try being a Lions fan.
Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson quit on you guys.
Tell us about it. Hey, we won back in 58, bud. We were hot shit in 50.
Oh, my God. So, Johnny, do you think you could beat me 0 to 80?
Oh, yeah. I think
we have to line that.
I think
we have to line that around.
I think I could drive your car and you could drive mine, and that'd still beat you 0 to 80.
Ooh, that's cocky. I like that. We need to line that up.
Shit, that's a 14-hour drive.
I will pay for your hotel.
That's the cheapest part. You got to pay my tolls and my gas.
I will let you. I will let you sleep in my house.
Oh,
we don't have.
You got a dog though.
Yeah, Yeah, but I know you. You can.
Maybe next year we'll have a meet somewhere in the middle.
Why not Columbus? It's right in the middle.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. That's only like 2.5 hours.
I am not going to Columbus.
Regardless of what you guys choose for a meetup place, it's going to be like a 10-hour plus drive for me.
Oh, no, it'd be more than that, buddy.
You know how fast my car is.
You know what?
That's true. That's true. We don't know how fast it is at regular altitude, though.
You have to sacrifice just a little, Das. Just a little.
Just a little.
I say you ship that thing on a semi, and you just fly over, bud. That's what I would do.
You should just tow it with your Civic.
The 1600. So yeah, that's what I want to see: a Civic with a hatch or a hitch.
Right. You know what we should do? No, seriously, in seriousness, okay? So we're gonna be serious at the moment. Stop all the clowning around. We should have a meet at a drag strip near a hotel, and we should just make a weekend of just bullshit. Like a Saturday and a Sunday. Everybody get a hotel room right by a drag strip, and let's just like cars, beers, Mopar, and bullshit. You know, just like shenanigans. One weekend, 2 days of just gasoline, cars, and just like bullshitting. What say you?
I wonder if it'd be cheaper to get an on-road track to rent.
A what?
An on-road track? Like a small racetrack?
Like a circuit?
Yeah.
Yeah. None of us can turn.
Oh, shit.
I've struck
We got all
First
these
turn.
I can turn.
I'm not into crashing my car. I had a slight I had a slight turn one time, and then I.
There's no curves on a racetrack, man.
That's true. I'll just end up in the grass.
Yeah, that grass don't hurt.
All right.
You have the stock ride height on that RT?
Yeah. Yep. I'm actually kicking around the idea, since I now have a daily driver, of putting the lowering springs on there now.
So I've been sitting on some E-Bach sport lines for probably like 2 months. I was originally going to put them on before Toledo, and I thought about it. I was like, maybe it might be a bad idea. And then I get a situation like what 169 Design had with his drive shaft.
Yeah.
And then I'm going up next weekend with Johnny to Gillette for the shootout up there. So I was like, okay, I'm going to hold on to these again and wait for this whole shootout to go.
Yeah, but it's just
So
it's just lowering
springs. Huh?
Yeah, it's just lowering springs though. Even if you screw it up, it's really not that big of a deal.
Well, yeah, but I would probably screw with my time, and I'd probably have to figure out how to launch the damn car all over again. I mean, I've already relearned how to launch it with the new tires and wheels on it.
But you can't just mash the gas?
No.
You can, but you're not going to win. Spinning ain't winning.
I can't spin. I don't have enough power to spin my
That's
car.
not true. There's a video of you spinning on the track.
Yeah.
Ooh, all-wheel drive.
Gotcha.
My last video when I was at the drag strip, and that third run where I couldn't figure out why my car wasn't grabbing and launching. Turns out I launched in second gear and still ran a 13.8.
There you go.
Oh, wow.
A lot of people run out of second.
Well, a lot of people with the Hellcats do.
Yeah. Well, let's not kid yourself. You beat a Hellcat.
So yeah, that's true. I should just throw cats on my fenders instead of an SRT badge, right, Rory? RT
You should just get a Trackhawk.
Totally.
Dude, that'd be badass.
Okay, my biggest gripe about the Trackhawk is you're paying all this extra money for this like badass supercharged Jeep and everything like that, and really the only thing that you get that sets it off from just like a Jeep SRT is yellow calipers.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Oh, and I forgot. It says supercharged down the doors too.
I would love the yellow calipers, to be honest
Honestly,
with you.
I want it. I really want it.
I'm not saying I don't want it. I just wish that there was a little bit more that set it apart from like a Jeep SRT.
I would Trackhawk the shit out of that thing. I would make like a custom logo to go over it. Like everybody would know it's a Trackhawk. Either that or deep
So the
edge.
people with the Hellcats with the big cat vinyl on the side, you just like do a giant hawk down the side of it.
Those Trackhawks from like a 0 to 100 obliterate Hellcats. It's amazing. I need all-wheel drive. All-wheel drive is spectacular.
Oh, God.
Good night, man.
The new police pursuits.
They're all-wheel drive? They're all-wheel drive?
Yeah, some of the models do have all-wheel drive Hemis.
They were testing those. That's why they stopped making them, because the transfer cases were blowing in them back in 2015. Really? And they started testing them with the cop cars, and so they got it now to where they can handle the power.
But the all-wheel drive pursuit packages still come with the NAG 1 5-speed auto. There's still not enough room to put that 8-speed torque flight in there.
Really? Is that the catch?
Yeah, that's the catch.
Yeah, but I'll take that anyway. An all-wheel drive.
Your Jeep, the SRT Jeep, has the all-wheel and the torque flight.
Jeep is a Jeep, man. We're talking like a sedan versus a Jeep.
Well, the sedan's probably longer.
Wheelbase.
You know, Das Lamas is the car that I wanted before I got my B5. I was looking into all-wheel drive RTs, and then I was like, maybe I'll get a 392. And there was no all-wheel drive RTs around on Long Island, New York. I don't know. They're like unicorns around here. So I was like, I'll get a 392, and then I saw the B5 just like in the middle of like all these Mazda 6s, and it was like, you ever hear like that noise that goes?
Angel singing.
I walked on the lot and I was just like, I looked at my wife. I was like, I want that, you know, and
that is the one.
That is the one. Yeah, I didn't even I barely touched the gas, and then I said, we're walking away with this. I didn't even give a shit. I was trying to like play it cool, like with the salesman, like, oh yeah, you know, it's all right. Meanwhile, I was like, when he left, I was like, this is my car. I want it. I want it so bad. And that was that. But all-wheel drive RTs were what really actually got me into the idea of getting a Charger.
And that's what got you to the YouTube Das Lamas YouTube channel too. You saw me get stuck in the snow.
Yeah, I was looking into all-wheel drive Chargers. I wanted to know, you know, just what common things were about the car. I wanted to hear feedback, what people thought about it, etc. And then I'm like, what is this banana head doing with this fucking Charger? He's like plowing. He's like got an all-wheel drive Charger, and I'm sitting there watching him plow through snow, and I'm like, it's actually kind of impressive. But that's how I came across his channel. I didn't subscribe though. I was like, he's kind of weird.
I still am kind of weird.
I'm just kidding, but I didn't subscribe because I wasn't big into YouTube. I was just, you know, I was just doing a little bit of research, and then as soon as I got my Charger, I subscribed to your channel because we started bullshitting and stuff, you know. So.
Well, before you, I wasn't really building my channel for subscribers. I was just kind of doing it for fun. And then
yeah, I remember looking at your channel. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Like, there's like guns and shit going on. Like you were doing all kinds of crazy, like
it was
all
a jack
kinds of
of all
stuff.
trades thing, man.
Yeah, but I was like, if you're gonna try and build a channel, like pick an avenue. I don't know. That's just my thought.
Come on, shooting pumpkins with a 12-gauge shotgun is fun.
You ain't
It
lying.
is fun.
The secret is you got to fill them with water before you shoot them. You just got to bore a little hole in the top and fill them with water, then they'll actually explode.
Wait, you got a little.
Yeah, you got to jab it in there.
Hold on, I need another beer.
And all conversation stops. Is like, and our driving force for the interview here is gone.
So what you have to do is you have to drive the Charger and shoot the watermelon as you drive by.
Yeah, but unfortunately, YouTube frowns upon firearms, and they'll demonetize channels.
This
stuff.
must be a British company,
Really?
huh?
Yeah, technically, if you say the word, GON, and it and their algorithms catch it, they'll actually flag it.
Thought this was America.
Was.
Not no more, apparently. Nobody likes the Constitution.
Oh, no.
Shoot, I was want to do more range videos later this year, but
It's all about
not anymore. I don't know.
It's all about how you say it and stuff like that. You just have to not sound aggressive with your projectile launching devices.
So,
You should make
I
a
did
before.
that one opening or closing. I can't remember what it was, but I did that little charge and said trench warfare and stabbed the target with it.
Nice.
Not sure if you guys remember that or not.
I don't think I do. I remember you going to the range.
Yeah, I went to the range. We shot the M1 Garand and AR-15. And let's see, I don't remember if we took the handguns out there or not.
M1 Grand.
I remember you shooting rifles.
Yeah, it was probably just the rifles then. But I think it was the closing where I went and did the trench warfare with the bayonet on the M1.
There you go.
LB, you're coming to the meet tomorrow? there, Connecticut. LB has a lime green Charger, and he typically makes it to the New York meets.
Yeah, it's got those fancy headlights.
Wow, I look like Ace Ventura.
Alrighty then.
Looking at all the different greens on the Mopars and stuff like that, is there a big difference between like the lime green and the green go? Because I haven't seen them side by side, but just in passing, they look really close to the same.
I think one's got pearl in it.
Yeah, one has pearl, one's flat.
And then whoever named Green Go, that's kind of funny because Green Go, yeah.
All right. So, what do you guys think about? Because we're all Charger owners here. Dodge paying attention to what seems to be only the Challenger.
I feel neglected.
We'll get our day.
I like it.
You don't think that, like, I understand some people, they're like, the Charger has evolved, and it has from its earliest of stages, whereas in the Challenger has kind of stayed almost the same, basically just a little bit curvier and some new taillights or whatever. But my thing is why hasn't the Charger seen any of those kind of performance upgrades?
Sales are good.
Well, it's a sedan. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah,
exactly.
They're making money, so why change it?
But wouldn't it increase sales? Like, what they're doing with the Scat Pack Challenger is, in my opinion, awesome. It's unbelievable, actually. It is so tempting to go out and buy a Challenger Scat Pack at this point. But why wouldn't you put the trans brake? Why wouldn't you put that kind of technology, the upgraded suspension, the drag mode into that Charger Scat Pack? The Charger Scat... Okay, so you can't sit there and tell me that a Scat Pack, a 392 Charger Scat Pack, is just for a family. Okay, it's not.
It's just about what you discussed earlier. It's all about profit. They already have these.
Dancing around it, man. I mean, there's always that argument that the Charger is not a muscle car anymore because it has 4 doors. There's always that argument right there. So maybe they're just focusing more on the muscle car and not the Charger as well.
And to kind of add on with that, the Charger is actually not built to compete with the Camaro and Mustang. It's actually built to compete with the Ford Taurus SHO and the Chevy SS, and those two are gone now. So basically, the competition is all import.
M4s.
Was it Audi A6?
Yeah.
It's just all the sedans that cars supposed to be lined up with now.
I understand your point. I understand your point, but just because something is not meant to compete with something doesn't mean that people don't compete with it. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, the Charger and the Challenger they're not meant to actually compete both with the Camaro and the Mustang. It's a totally different build, but yet people do compete. It's kind of like the videos that I uploaded about the Corvette, what is it, the ZR1? It's a track-focused car, but yet you see it all the time on the drag strip going up against a Dodge Demon. These are two cars that are not meant to be competing with one another. They're built completely different, but yet everybody compares them because that's what happens. They're on the drag strip, right? So just because the Charger is not meant to compete with something, it still ends up on the drag strip, and it still needs to compete with these things, That's just my thoughts.
The Dodge Boy is saying Cadillac CTS-V, but isn't that a 2-door as well?
There's a 4-door version. There's a 4-door version, right?
The wagon?
Yeah,
but stop making it.
That's still like outside of the class because aren't those supercharged?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. That thing would
it's the same as the Vet.
Yeah, it's a supercharged Vet engine.
It's in the LT4.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't pay much attention to other companies like Chevy and Ford and stuff like that. They quit making this Chevy SS and the Ford SHO. Build the RT.
So, say that again. I didn't catch that.
They stopped making the SS in the show.
Yeah.
I didn't know about the show. I know they stopped making the
Ford's only going to be doing the Mustang and the Focus ST. They're not even going to do the baseline Focus. They're only going to do the ST, or excuse me, they're going to do the ST and the RS for the Focus.
Yeah, and
they're
you know
not
what?
Even the
there's so many people that are like, oh, the sedan is going out of business, or, you know, everybody's going to stop making sedans, this, that, and the other thing. And let me tell you, everybody goes through phases. And I just think a lot of people are going to migrate to Chargers now because it's a performance sedan. And I think there's a big market for performance sedans. And I think once people, I don't know, like right now what's in is the crossover, the Jeep, you know what I mean?
The SUVs are taking over.
But I think people constantly try to be different. And once everybody has a crossover, then people are going to be like, well, you know, maybe I'll just get a sedan now just to be a little different. And then it just goes back and forth, you know? So
I want a performance minivan. I want to buy a Caravan RT and then soup that up.
I've seen it. I've seen turbocharged minivans.
I would drive a station wagon.
Yeah.
I would. I'd drive the Magnum.
In the mid-2000s, a freaking Honda Odyssey could outrun a Crown Vic easy. I mean,
talk about the station wagon, the Magnums, the Magnum SRTs. So there's one guy in my car club that's actually doing a built motor and everything like that on his Magnum SRT. That thing's going to be beast. And I know there's a lot of them out there that have a lot of power, and they're getting super creative on some of these mods. I think they were doing like a Chrysler 300 front end on these Magnums and stuff like that. They're actually looking pretty good, and these guys are getting creative with those Magnums.
That's a 6.1, right? That SRT Magnum?
Mm-hmm.
That it would be interesting to see what the Magnum would look like if it was to like come back now. You know, like would it look like a Charger just with an extended back, or, you know?
I'm sure it would. They did reuse the parts. I mean, that makes sense, doesn't it?
But like, if you look at a Magnum and a Charger back in what, 06, 07, were they like from the front? Did they look the same?
Yeah, that's the same front end. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Same headlights, same grille.
No, different headlights, different grille.
I thought the Magnum was more round, right? Wasn't the Magnum more bubbly than the Charger back in 06, 07? Like, I thought the Charger was like, it had like so much more attitude than the Magnum. No? I don't know.
I always imagine them being pretty damn close. I just like the ass end of the Magnum hut. Kind of looks like a bullet.
So many people want to see the Magnum back, but I don't think there's a market for it. And not that there's not people that want to buy it. I just think that from a financial standpoint, it doesn't make sense for Dodge to do it because it would just cut into Charger sales, basically, right?
So Dodge Boy is actually saying the Magnum was sold with the 300C front end in Europe. It was titled the Chrysler 300 Touring, and the Magnum was based off the 300. So if it's based off the 300, the front end's probably going to be a little bit different.
So with that being said, you could probably think that if they brought the Magnum back, it'd probably be the same looking on the front end as the 300, and then you'd probably have more of a back end of a Durango or something like that.
I could see that for sure.
That's hard to get your mind wrapped around with Dodge's current styling, how they would design the station wagon. I mean, they're very much on like with the Chrysler and the Chargers right now, very rounded and everything like that. I mean, would it look like a smashed down Durango back end with like the long LED light bar across it and everything?
That would be sweet. I would like that. I would
Would
like
you
that
trade
quite
your
a
scat
bit.
pack in for it, Johnny?
I'm waiting for the 426, man.
I don't know if I can, to be honest with
bring
you.
back the 426. I mean, if they brought back the 426, that's designing an entire new engine and everything like that. When they have a perfectly fine 392 or a supercharged 6.2, why would they?
It's coming back? It's not a matter of.
It's legendary,
like,
man.
why would you do it? It is coming back 100%.
So it'd be the nostalgia point of it. But
no, it's coming back for the truck. The what do you call it? The Ram Rebel or whatever.
Okay.
They're doing it. You know how like there's a Hellcat version of
yeah,
whatever?
the Ram Rebel TRX has the supercharged motor.
They're going to have 2 performance versions of it. They're going to have the Hellcat with 707 horsepower, although I don't think it's going to have 700 horsepower.
It's like
it's less
or something.
Yeah, and then then there's going to be a naturally aspirated version, the 426 Hemi, and I think the reason why they're doing that is because Ford announced that they're going to be bringing back the 427. So there's competition between the two. And so while you're developing the 426, why not plop it in the Chargers and the Challengers?
You know they will.
I know they will. It's
Yeah,
probably
they
going
will.
to be.
I didn't know that they were going to put it in the trucks. I was thinking like if they brought back the Barracuda and just put the 426 in there, they wouldn't design an entire new engine for one car. It'd have to be an engine that would fit multiple vehicles in their lineup for it to be worth the money to design that engine.
See, I don't think the Barracuda is I don't think the Barracuda is happening.
I don't think so either.
I've been speculating the hell out of that, and
what would be its place? You know,
a
track car, an on-road track car.
Yeah, I do. I think that they can bring back something that would pacify the situation of losing the Viper. So whether that is a twin turbo V6 that produces 550 horsepower and is really just geared towards, turning, and I could see that happening, but I don't think it's going to happen though.
I don't see the Barracuda returning at all.
Yeah.
If they're going to do any kind of road track car, they're going to bring the Viper back.
That would be sweet.
I don't see them bringing anything to replace the Viper. The Viper's gone away so they could redesign it and revamp it because
Dodge did it with the Durango. Dodge did this before. They stopped
for 2 years.
Did a major redesign and then brought it back.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Supercharged V10. That's all I'm saying.
You think it's gonna happen?
Oh, that'd be so awesome.
Yeah.
Or just make it a V12. I mean, all the European badasses got V12s.
Sure. Yeah.
They're all tiny V12s. I say we make a big old.
I was going to say small V12, put a twin turbo on that.
I got a 5-liter V12. It's like, no, in America, we got
guys.
9.5-liter.
Here's the thing. Okay, so back when Dodge had the 6.1, SRT went MIA for 1 year. Okay? And then the 6.4 came out. So where did the naturally aspirated SRT go in 2019? Bye-bye.
Is it official?
SRT is, I bet you, currently developing a naturally aspirated Hemi engine. Just saying. And I think it's the 426.
That would be awesome.
So then they're going to put that 392 reserved for the Scat Pack. Then you can have the naturally aspirated SRT as the 426, or then go all the way up to the.
Yep. And then in 2020, you're going to see a new SRT naturally aspirated Hemi.
7-liter.
I'll buy that.
Well, I hope it comes out in 2021, so I got no more car payments and I can afford the new car.
I got to buy a house first.
2020, you just have to. You never want to buy the first gen of anything, man.
That's a fact.
That's kind of why I want this 1320. I think that by the time I'm ready for a 426, it'll be like a year or two after it's been released, and then all the kinks would be, ironed out and etc. This Scat Pack I've never had the urge to buy a Scat Pack. I mean, I did, but this is like I'm like feeling that itch, man.
It makes sense for you being on that tiny island, man.
You're what?
It makes sense for you being on that small island. You know what I mean?
I need all that horsepower to go up to
light to light. You know, yeah, light to light.
Yeah. My acceleration.
Light the tires going light to light.
That's right. Every race is just a green light away.
Yeah, I mean, you know what the problem is it doesn't make any sense for my channel though to actually go out and buy it. It would just be for me, you know, like just to be like, because I just love the custom badges. I love all the technology that's in there. If I were to get it, I wouldn't mod it or anything like that. I would.
You really don't have to.
Well,
yeah, I would just
that thing
keep
is
it as is.
That thing's basically a demon with a naturally aspirated 392.
Yeah.
Yep.
It would torch a lot of cars on there, you know, and it's just going to make the horsepower and torque that the 392 makes really efficient, you know. So
I think they were talking the numbers on that. It's a low 11-second car from the factory.
No, it's high 11.7. With Chuck Norris pushing it.
Chuck Norris doesn't have to push stuff, buddy.
He just
pushes
looks at it, right?
That's right. He just eyeballs it. I'm surprised there's not an 8-mile track on that island somewhere. I'm really not. I mean, you'd think they'd make some money.
There used to be a track, and it got closed down. There's like a petition to try and open it because, you know,
the government shut it down.
I don't know what happened to it. It's been long gone before I was around, before I was even into cars, I believe. So, but you know what's the problem with not having a track nearby is that, you know, you have, like, if you go on Long Island, there's a lot of people with very high horsepower cars, and they're racing them on the highways and stuff like that. And that's even more unsafe than having a track, you know?
Yeah,
so,
a lot.
have a track, let these guys get the testosterone out and do it in a safer environment.
You just buy some property. Asphalt's cheap, man.
I was talking about that with Tunnel Chaser, and we were reviewing some property, and there's like, you know, he wants to go Pennsylvania. I'm like, I'm not driving 3 freaking hours to Pennsylvania every time I want to.
Well, it defeats the purpose, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But we were discussing about purchasing property, like a couple of acres, and then like in the middle of it, just putting like a quarter-mile strip and just having a YouTube bash, basically, you know, everybody just running and doing a free-for-all out there.
Street Outlaws YouTube style.
Yep. And maybe we would buy property that is like very woodsy or whatever, but
I don't know if you want trees by a racetrack.
No. We would imagine
They hurt when you hit them.
Yeah, they don't move.
You have like all these trees, and then you pave it so that there's like it's hidden almost. So
Blocks the noise. I bet you that's why that place shut down. It's too loud for New York.
What? Yeah.
The old strip. I'm sure the government.
I still want to see RT life on the track. I want to know what times are.
That would
See, I have no urge to go to an official track.
Well, I thought you were going to like a month ago.
I mean, I was only going to do it because Mod to Fame Fest. So I went out, I got a helmet and all that other bull crap. And then it rained. And then I missed it because I was on vacation. But I really just like, I don't know, track racing is different. You know, like I like the imperfections of street racing. You know? Plus I need you 392 owners to keep spinning off the line. So that I look better.
Well, you should be picking on the Camaro and the Mustang guy.
Who's the Camaro and the Mustang guy?
You need to pick on them. I don't know. Why are you picking on your fellow brother?
Hey,
I need
you're allowed
to
pick on your brother. You can't let anyone else pick on your brother.
I guess.
True. Yeah, that is accurate. All right. Wow, we still have 9 people watching. What the?
Well, don't be too loud about the 9 people because I think 4 of them are us.
Oh, all right. Yeah. That is
you
true.
got a point there.
All right, guys. I think I'm gonna go.
Yeah,
2 hours.
2 hours
2
is
hours.
probably enough.
That's cool with me.
It's dark over by Das Lamas.
Yeah, there you go. It's completely dark out here.
Yeah, it is.
All right, gents. I'm
Off like a prom dress.
I'm out. Yeah.
All right, guys. Hey, everybody, if you haven't hit that like button, go ahead and like the video, please. Everybody's YouTube channels are linked in the description. So if you're not subscribed to any of these other guys, please check out their channels and subscribe to them. We appreciate all your time that you spend with us tonight. You guys are super engaging out there through all this chat stuff. LB3711, dude, you stuck through this for 2 hours, man. Props.
He's the man, isn't he?
Yeah, and Dodge Boy, man, you've got so much knowledge that you've been sharing to us. So thanks so much for hanging out and sharing your knowledge.
Dodge Boy is the man. I love that.
Yeah, he is. I miss his channel.
All right, guys. Everybody, you guys have a great night, all right?
Take care.
See ya.
Later.